Hi there, I'm Graham.
And I'm Tannen.
Welcome to our first episodes of Thoughts from Crystal Street. Here on this show, me and Tannen are going to discuss news from the week that we think is relevant. Of course, we're only filming it once a week, so most of it may not be news, but you're going to get our opinions on said news. I also want to add real quick that I just got back from the dentist, so this whole side of my face is not working right now.
With that, let's start off with the new Ghostbusters, the all-female cast. For that and what we think. So far, it is, well, let's see, are they confirmed?
They've got to sign their contracts still at this point, but yeah, for the most part, it's all confirmed.
Alright, well, the cast so far then is Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Leslie Jones, and Katie McKinnon. And I'm only familiar with Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig.
And I know very actually little of Kristen Wiig as well. So now I do know from looking online that Leslie Jones and Kate McKinnon are both SNL cast members, which I like. I like that they went to SNL, as you had, of course, Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray in the original Ghostbusters films, who were SNL alums. So at least there's some continuity there. But what do we think? What female Ghostbusters?
I'm happy that they're trying to make another one, but honestly, it's gonna be like every non-Disney Marvel movie for me.
Yeah.
It's like I'm hoping that it does well. Like, you know, Fox XMen. It's like I go into it hoping that it's good, but I'm not. My expectations are gonna be.
You have an open mind, but the faith is low.
Yeah, and also I'm not a huge fan of Melissa McCarthy or Kristen Wiig, and those are the only two actresses in this that I know. Kristen Wiig can come across as weird.
Yeah, and I'd agree.
And Melissa McCarthy is Melissa McCarthy. I mean, if you like her, you love her. If you don't, she's her in every movie so far. Granted, she's relatively new.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I'll watch it. Hope that it's good. I mean, the other two, they can be funny, so I mean, it could work. But honestly,
yeah,
I don't have high hopes. I'm not gonna hold my breath for this one.
I think I'm there with you. I think my big thing is I hope. Of course, I haven't heard anything confirmed other than these actresses and the director. Is I hope that Dan Aykroyd at least gets involved. I know Bill Murray has always been on the fence if he was even going to do Ghostbusters 3 back when Harold was alive. So, at the very least, I hope that Aykroyd's in it too. I don't know if they're going to try, they're going to go complete reboot and like these are the first Ghostbusters ever, or if they're going to say that we're picking up where they left off.
I hope that's the story, where we're picking up where 2 ended, or you know, for current date, so you can actually have Aykroyd and
Winston Zeddemore, who I'm forgetting his actor's name, and I feel bad about that.
Yeah, I mean, just cameos or kind of them passing off the reins.
That's
something to add legitimacy to the franchise, I guess, over this long amount of time. Something to bring
it
the
back.
Continuity, something. Because if you start over, like if you reboot it. The first Ghostbusters doesn't need rebit,
rebited,
at all. And I can watch both of them. Some people don't really care for 2.
I've never understood that. I love 2. It's Vigo.
So yeah, I think it would just be a shame if they kind of accepted that those weren't in the universe that they're bringing back.
I'd agree, and that's kind of where my mindset is. So as long as Aykroyd gets on board, I'm going to give it a watch either way. It's Ghostbusters. I love the first 2, so either way I'm there. But I really hope that Aykroyd gets involved in some level. So for the rest of the news this week, it was all Marvel related, mind you. 2 of it's going to be Fox Marvel related, and only one of it is Marvel related. Fox Marvel.
Yeah, and with that, we're going to go into X-Men Apocalypse.
Yes.
And their it's the casting.
Yeah, it's so we know that Channing Tatum is involved as Gambit, and he's actually set to get a spin-off movie after this. So I imagine he's going to get a lot of screen time, and especially if you're putting Hugh Jackman in it as well. And I think they've already confirmed that Fassbender and
both Xavier and Magneto.
So you've got these 4 major characters. I mean, Gambit's...
Oh, and Mystique.
Oh, and Mystique.
Yeah. Jennifer Lawrence. She's in it as well, and so you got already the 4 that take up all of the screen time.
And I think Evan Peters is supposed to be in it as Quicksilver again.
Yeah, he is.
And so there's already all these characters, and now they've announced that there will be a new Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Storm. Cyclops is going to be played by Ty Sheridan, and Storm's going to be played by Alexandra Shipp. I know neither actor, and for this, I don't want to jump on IMDb and look these people up and try and say, that's... if I know these people, I'll tell you about them. If I don't, these are unknowns to me. The only one that I did know is Sophie Turner's going to play Jean Grey. Now, Sophie Turner is Sansa Stark in Game of Thrones, and I actually think she looks a lot like Jean. I like that casting.
Yeah, I was happy with this, and I mean, really, I only know her as Sansa, and Sansa's quite a bit different than Jean Grey, but it's like she does look a lot like, a younger version of Jean Grey, and I like that, but I also like just looking at the pictures of Ty Sheridan and Alexander Shipp. Mm-hmm. As far as just physicality,
they look
casting. Right. I just can't say anything about their acting.
Yeah,
we don't know them.
Now, we did this in the strip from Monday, talking about the over-under time that we think that Cyclops is going to get in this movie, because I really did. I actually tried to look this up, how much total screen time Scott Marsden, is how you pronounce his last name, got in the entire 3 X-Men movies, but I'm willing to bet it was less than 40 minutes, all 3 combined.
All 3 of them, yeah.
Because X-Men 1, he did actually get a decent amount of screen time, but 2 and 3, he may as well not even been in the movie.
Oh, yeah, 3, he dies in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of ridiculous. So I like all 3 of these characters, and I really like Cyclops. I'm one of those guys who has always liked Cyclops. And yeah, he's a Boy Scout, but he brought the team together. I mean, he was the leader. Wolverine was a dick. All he'd do is, I'm going to run in and go stab shit. It was Cyclops who told you, here's how we're going to go beat that big fucking Sentinel over there.
It's also a shame that Cyclops, I mean, he's an original. That you're not giving screen time to an original member of when the book was written for the first time. There's Cyclops. Wolverine comes around in the 80s.
Yeah.
Now, I understand Wolverine is the more popular character, but you're kind of negating some of your own lore when you get rid of really the first X-Men.
Do we really want to get into Fox and lore, though?
Oh, no, yeah.
Fox and lore, that's an oxymoron, considering they can't follow their own lore that they've written for their movies.
Right, but, they kind of suckered themselves out of that.
Yeah, time travel
can fix everything.
Thanks, Deadpool. That's a comic reference.
Yeah, look it up. But it's like when I saw Channing Tatum as Gambit, and then when I saw that he's already scripted for his own standalone.
Yeah.
Well, my first realization was that probably good, because at least whoever made the movie thought he did a good job, good enough to give him then his own movie.
Right.
It's bad for all these people and their screen time.
Yes.
But Gambit's one of my favorite X-Men.
Yeah.
But Channing Tatum is quite a bit older than... Oh, no. We don't have to worry about that.
It's fine.
Yeah, we don't.
Don't. I mean, let's actually think about this.
Every time when I try to use logic, I remember who I'm talking about.
Because I'm going to shatter your mind here. His main love interest is Rogue. Rogue will not come around in Fox lore until what was X-Men 1, 96? 97?
Yeah.
No, later than that.
No.
2000.
X-Men 1, 99.
99.
I think.
So, but this movie I think is supposed to take place in the 80s. So even if Cyclops or Gambit was young, he's going to be 40 by the time he's hooking up with... So it's Fox timeline. I've given up on their lore and trying to make things work right. But
all right, well, we did a prediction for Scott Summers' Cyclops screen time. I'm going to do a prediction that Fox X-Men franchise, because they're going to keep doing it. They're going to milk it for everything they got. But I'm going to go the Days of Future Past. There's 1. Age of Apocalypse. There's 2. I'm going to say 2 more before they have to come up with another time travel explanation
to fix it all
on why they need to fix everything. I'm giving them Apocalypse and two more.
That's fairly generous in my opinion. Actually, something we didn't plan to talk about, but I do want to throw it in there. I read that Fox is planning to do an XMen TV show, actually helmed by the 24 crew.
Really?
Yeah,
like Bauer,
like the Jack Bauer. So I don't know if that'll turn out or what, but Fox is going to try to get into the superhero TV market too. At this point, I've given up hope. They're not going to surrender their contract to Marvel. They're going to let it run dry, and Marvel's just going to do what they do with it at this point. So, sorry, Marvel fans, but Fox is going to keep fucking them over. So let's talk about some Marvel news. Not movie, but
this is Netflix Marvel's. I mean, we already know the shows that are slated to come out, but the news is Purple Man for the
Jessica Jones series.
Jessica Jones.
The Purple Man is going to be played by David Tennant of Doctor Who fame. I mean, almost every Doctor Who fan I know loves David Tennant. They'll usually say that's their favorite guy. There's a few that are bigger on Matt Smith, but I like Tennant. I really do like David Tennant, and I don't know the Purple Man overly well. I read he was in an issue of not X-Men, but Avengers that I read, and very, very briefly. I do know that he is a Luke Cage and Jessica Jones villain, so he does fit into going into this show. I know he's a powerful telepath. He tends to be a little bit sadistic. I did see him on an episode of Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It was a two-parter, and I believe he was voiced by Brent Spiner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it was a good character, and I think that Tennant could potentially play him really well.
Yeah, I mean, so I have no clue who this person is, but I like David Tennant, so now I'm interested, at least mildly interested, because honestly, Graham's more of the Marvel guy than I am, so when he said Purple Man, he texted me Purple Man, and honestly, I didn't know what that was until I got over here.
Yeah. So real quick, what are you thinking about these Netflix series? So we got Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and then the Defenders. Now, the Defenders is a group series. We don't know who they're going to be yet. We can assume it's at least going to have those three characters, and then maybe they'll intro one or two others for the series. But what do you think? Is that a good move for Marvel to do that?
Oh, it's not a bad move. And honestly, actually, after watching all of S.H.I.E.L.D. so far, I have higher hopes than I did before I watched S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. I actually think comic books fit best in a TV show medium than movies.
I 100% agree with that. I've actually said that for a long time, that I really think that a show benefits comic series, because when you do a movie, you're going to have your villain, and then you kind of have to move on from that villain in the next one to keep it fresh. And by doing that, you don't get a chance to really explore these characters. And I mean, there's a lot of stories that can be told. If we could have gotten more Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus, once or twice a season in a show.
Right.
I think that would have been great. And so I've always thought that TV is a better medium, and I mean, I think that that's being proven now with Arrow and Flash, and even Constantine, which I hope gets picked up, but it's not looking good right now.
And you can kind of see this because like Real Marvel and then Fox Marvel, or the new Spider-Mans haven't done it yet, but all of their movies right now are big, massive. I mean, they're year run in comic books. That's how they're making movies now. It's not here's what the X-Men did for 6 books. It's here's what the X-Men did for 2 years worth of books, and we're going to condense that into a movie. So I like the thing is, Daredevil, Luke Cage, don't even know who Jessica Stone is.
Jones.
Jones?
Like the Joneses.
Yep, yeah. See? He's Marvel.
I'm Marvel. I'm a Marvel, he's a DC.
And in Defenders, today is the first time I've heard it. But it's like, even not really being I'm just like, I like Daredevil, but not not a really huge fan of him. I'm curious. I would like to watch them just because I'm curious to see how they do them. I have considerable faith right now in Disney's Marvel, Disney, whoever.
Yeah.
They have yet to steer me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's also, it's like I already like, well, they're DC. So Flash and Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
There's characters that I know and like.
Yeah.
So, but WB's doing them well, and Netflix so far, all of their original series have been good.
That's really that I never thought was going to happen.
Yeah, and I also like them being on Netflix because I'm not going to have to wait next week to get the next one. So if I do like Daredevil, it will be done in a day.
Yeah.
And then I'll be pissed off that
you got to wait a
more
year.
Daredevil. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna. We'll have another one of these since they're weekly. When they do come out, we'll probably have our first reactions of here's what we thought of episode 1 or the series, depends on how much I watch of it.
Right.
Of Daredevil and all the rest. I like that they're doing them, but I'm kind of like Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I'm not going in it. It's like hell yeah, a Daredevil TV show. It's a Daredevil TV show. Yeah. It'll probably be I will forget about it.
Yeah.
And then you'll remind me, and then I'll go back. You'll like watch the first one.
Right.
And you'll say, hey, have you seen Daredevil? It's like, yeah, Ben Affleck. That movie wasn't that great. I was like, no, TV show, dumbass. And then it's like, I'll watch it, and if it's good, I'll watch the whole thing. That's almost, other than probably the Ben Affleck reference, it's probably exactly how this is going to go.
All right, so for our last story for this first episode, it's more Fox Marvel. It makes me sigh just when I say Fox. It brings up this welled feeling in my gut when I say it's Marvel. Fox.
Yeah, because it's like Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi.
Yeah.
It's the idea is there.
It's just not.
The flavor isn't.
So this week, the Fantastic Four. I guess it's a teaser. I remember when teaser trailers were like 9 seconds.
Oh, at least they're 30. I think was a teaser. It's like boom. Here's a very quick glimpse of action. Here's the actor that's playing this guy, and then Fantastic Four. That's how it works.
Well, like I remember the Dark Knight teaser trailer. You remember that when all it was the bat?
Oh yeah.
And the sound, but all you got that made you hopeful was you heard the laugh. You heard Heath Ledger doing the Joker laugh, and you were like, "Oh my God, what is that?" Now a teaser trailer's 2 minutes.
Yeah, that used to be how long they were. That was the full length trailer. That's what you went to the opening day. The 12 o'clock showing of a movie because they were going to have the long trailer.
Yeah.
For whatever, which was 2 minutes long. This is Fantastic Four's teaser, which is 2 minutes long,
and shows almost nothing. It is the most 2 minutes of nothing I think I've watched in a trailer, and it has Godzilla syndrome. I know what fucking Godzilla looks like. Let me see it. So, because that's a large thing, and so it's like with the Thing. It's like you see him in a pile of rocks, and then you see him from the back. Show him to me, because if you're not showing him to me, I'm concerned that he looks like ass.
Yeah, I mean, it's because you got a glimpse of the 3 males using their powers.
This is what you see of Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, but
it goes off screen.
That's off screen, right? So you see him reaching for a cup of coffee. For all we know,
the most we get of the Invisible Woman is this: she's leaning over a computer.
I think that's all the line she has, also, isn't it?
Maybe. Maybe
she can't act.
We do see Black Human Torch on fire.
Yeah, that's the most representation of the powers that you get.
We see some Michael B. Jordan on fire, so...
I'm just hoping that... No, they won't do that.
Okay.
And now I'm hoping they won't do that. Never mind, I'm just not even going to mention it.
No, I want to like this movie, because I do like the other 2 Fantastic Fours. I know they have plenty of flaws. I'm not ignorant to the fact of that. But I love the cast, and I love their interaction, and it felt like the Fantastic Four, because to me, the Fantastic Four is always read like a sitcom. It was the sitcom of the Marvel Universe, because it was more about them living together than it was about them going off to the negative zone.
Right, yeah, it's Three's Company, and here's our ugly friend.
Yeah, that is, I mean, and so I liked it because Chitless was so
Oh, yeah.
good as the Thing, and of course Chris Evans in his first Marvel role
Yep.
as Human Torch was great. Their interactions were perfect. I think the only I didn't care for Jessica Alba. She was flat, but
and I'm really wasn't a big fan of
Ian. I don't even try to
Mr.
guess.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, I just, and it's probably not him. I just didn't like how he was written, I guess.
Yeah.
And then really, it's because I can go back and watch it, but they're on TV. I watch them.
Yeah.
I just didn't like Galactus at the end.
Yeah, Galactus. But I like Doctor Doom. I love the.
Yeah, I like
Nip Tuck Dude as Doctor Doom.
Doom in both of them. I just didn't like. I've always liked the Galactus.
Yeah.
But, so we turn him into a cloud. It's kind of depressing.
Fox.
I mean, they do everything they can. I mean,
no, they don't.
You do understand that they have baboons writing for them, so this is actually all. I mean, even Daredevil was a phenomenal movie. The baboons. Half lobotomized baboons.
Okay, half lobotomized. Because I think baboons could turn out sometimes.
Baboons would feel pretty bad that their brethren was writing Fox Marvel movies.
So, again, I'm going to hope for something good. Maybe it will be Days of Future Past. It won't be Days of Future Past.
No. Mainly because none of these characters have even the depth of one of the four main characters in Days of Future Past. Maybe Mystique, but no, they don't.
On that sad note, we're going to end the first episode of Thoughts from Crystal Street. I'm Graham.
I'm Tana.
And we'll see you next week.